The next one, welcome back guys. This will be my top 4 match, season 9 playoffs. My opponent is T079. I think his original name is like TK Frank Guys or something. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Their guild changed, all their members in playoffs changed their names to numbers. So the homework before this match is this guy basically plays his main strat is playing with his slow AoE mages like Bozer, you can see here. Bozer, Lana, Lucretia, Liko here. And he plays it with Sophia to buff their defense. So he tries to play these mages and then he tries to make them assassin proof. So this Bozer here is built 2+2 blue with called Tiara, which is headgear that gives 15% defense and magic defense when at 100% HP. So Bozer with Sophia can get around 1000 defense, I think, on this account. So that's the main thing to watch out for. So throughout the playoff, this guy, he changed his box slightly, not very big changes. His main strat stays the same. So I wasn't sure what to expect. So I brought kind of a standard box here. And I threw in the Liana because his main strat is playing with AoE, so never hurts to have the Liana. And Christian because it's good against magic. Her aura reduces magic damage and range damage. And if he doesn't ban it, it's pretty nice to have against his team. A lot of magic damage. Lana, Lucretia, Liko, Bozer. So the first thing that I note about this box is he did not bring Bernhard against me, which I'm not sure why. Like he brought Liko, which is pretty bad against my box, I think. Like if this Liko was changed to a Bernhard, I think I would have a pretty rough time during the draft. But anyway, let's move on into the actual draft itself. First ban Lucretia, no brainer. It's one of his main DPSs. Bans Lucretia because he Rozen because he plays AoE. First picks a tank. Yan. I ban the Lana and Wedham. Nothing strange here. I'm going after his main playstyle, which is the magic AoE. And Lana is annoying because she has a revive. And if I don't want to ban out the immunity healers, it's going to be quite annoying to snipe her through the redeemers. So she's my second ban here. And there's like nothing much else that is too threatening that I'm scared of. So yeah. That's why I banned the Lana here. First pick Epsilon. Been one of my A drafts this entire playoffs, I think. First pick the Epsilon. Here I get the Uzumaki boys ban. It's the first time someone respect banned my Sigma. So okay. And he goes ahead and picks his Bozo here. So I banned the Sophia because I don't want to deal with that shit. And I banned Cherie because again, there's not too much that I'm scared of here. Cherie in with Christian's faction buff might be a bit scary. So, and he doesn't really have any other assassins other than Epsilon. Like, between Epsilon and Cherie, I'm a bit more scared of Cherie here. And I go with a more defensive approach of picking the Liana. Never bad, it's a bit defensive though. And for this ban, I don't really get it, especially, yeah, here he picks Rozen as a third pick. So, if you have a tank and you have a Rozen, I feel like Wedham is a pretty low value ban. Like, yeah, he's still a Dispel 5 and you don't really have a proper way of killing the Wedham, but Wedham doesn't really do much. Like, she just dispels your guard and forces you to stick in a cross formation. That's it. Whereas Ares, I guess, is a similar thing. He's scared of a Dispel guard into displacement, which can ruin his formation. But banning those two means that he's letting through Cherie. My final remaining assassins, I only brought 4 here. So yeah, take out the Hilda. I don't want to play against a double tank, the double auras. And I guess I just find the teleport annoying. I'm not sure if this is a more worth ban than Epsilon here. But yeah, I just don't want a Bozer to TP right into my face, even though I have a Liana here. kind of annoying. Especially since I'm not certain if I'm going to end up playing with a magic tank here yet. So just get that out of the way. So I mentioned previously that the way he plays is he tries to make his mage's assassin immune. So I suppose that's one of the reasons he gave the Cherie. Also, I didn't play Cherie a single time this entire playoff. I've been relying on the red hat boys. Maybe he just wants to see me play Cherie, or he's confident that his mages can tank the Cherie. So either way, moving on, get my Tejas and Himiko banned. He picks Marindal, which usually plays the Reflect build. So I guess he's confident about that. I ban out these two units. And I play Christian. Because at this point, you know, it's a pretty good pick. The double magic DPS, and having a tank will be pretty nice against the Helena. Whereas he bans my Autocrato and CC White. So double act again, and I guess he doesn't want to get annoyed by Autocrato's position swap. He picks Liana instead of Helena because I have a tank and Helena doesn't do much. And he gives me 5th pick Lucretia, which I think is a bit disrespectful. Like, even though you have this tank plus Rozen, even though you have that, when you give Lucretia, you don't just give Lucretia, you give Lucretia and a puppet. And I think Lucretia with Liana is a pretty well-known combo, and it's pretty disgusting. Like, you get to act again pretty much every other turn. And cycling cooldowns is just overall very powerful. Yeah. Get into the game. Yeah, let's check out this Boza. Before faction buff, he's already at 780 defense. With a normal faction buff, he goes up to around 900-ish. If there's a Sophia, it can go up to 1000, if I remember correctly. Miranda is drop near build, most likely, with Crystal Warlocks. Liana with Highland Warriors. It's not fixed immune, so infantry troops is probably the best bet to tank assassins. Rozen is fixed immune, I think. But it also has Glory of the World when it's double holy, so I'm not too sure. I remember it was fixed immune, but yeah, you can't really tell from here. Christian, standard. Boza, faction buff, AoE, standard. Epsilon, double attack. Liana with monks. I just want the extra healing, because I don't really need, like, there's no assassins here, I don't need to tank anything. Just want more healing with regular attack again, 3C. Cherie with Legion. Lucretia with triple single target attacks. And I bring Cleanse just to try to dispel guard and be annoying, because there's no point bringing 3C against a Rozen. And yeah, Christian standard as well. Yeah. Game's gonna be a bit slow. Yes, we just set up. My opponent pretty much has all these 3 movement mages or a whole bunch of threat range. So I'm pretty free to just move upwards. I didn't even faction buff my Christian turn 1. There's no need to. Here I probably could have gone ahead and used auto creation, but I held it. Well, I'm not the most experienced at playing these kind of drafts. And also one thing to note is that I believe I am not Teddy Bear in this game. I forgot to change my accessory. So it was still on the fixed immune or fixed immune accessory from last game. Is what I think. Later we will see when I cast auto creation. So I'll continue moving forward here. So when I saw this miracle in my head, I was like, okay, miracle is used, time to pull out, get ready to fight another day. Until this happens. Goes ahead, drops an AoE on me. And I go ahead and act again on my Cherie. Because Even though like I just said that I was planning to back off, you can tell with the way I move my Epsilon. But if you look at Marender, even though he has Miracle, he has defense buff, but he's next to a forest terrain, so my Earth Elf Knight Cherie will be able to get the full tech buffs from Assassin Tree. And the thing about Marender is, yes, she deters assassins by threatening to counter kill them from the drop near Warlocks build, but she's not innately that tanky. Like you can see her, it's only 500 defense, and it's not fixed immune. So I figured like this is the best chance I have to take out this Marender, get her out of the way. And because I'm using exclusive Cherie, so I'm not worried about a counter kill. So yeah, I just decide to act again and go. Yep, not fixed immune, drop near Warlocks. They mutual kill, but I have exclusive. Take a fixed damage from the 3C, but I run back safely. Now it's time to reset. Cherie has blown her load, so she needs a bit of time to set up again. She ran out of faction buff. Unfortunately for my opponent, his DPS is a Bozer, doesn't have the most range. I get Tenure Breeze on Cherie here, so it further threatens his positioning. Yep, it's only 2 turns. I forgot to change my accessory back to Teddy Bear. Yeah, but as you can see, the Bozer can't really threaten anything, even if he moves here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His AoE only hits on this diagonal. Doesn't really do much, even if he moves up. This is whatever, I don't care. Basically, my opponent is on a timer because eventually, once I get my faction buff back, once I get Act Again back, I can just do a double move and kill Bozer. No matter how tanky you are going to die in 2 assassin hits if you don't have a heal. So he needs to be able to do something decisive before that happens. Whereas I'm just chilling. I just harass the Christian here, just burning turns. Magic Pulse on my Epsilon so I can get my faction buff back. I'm holding my Cherie here to try and threaten his Bozer from moving up. Yeah, just to cast his faction buff again. Liana just drops into the middle, heals everyone. The Tenure Breeze that doesn't really do much in this case. Yeah, I try to push a bit forward, try and jam the Bozer so that he can't reach my backline. I just harass the Christian again. Damage in. Okay, Bozer goes in. Absolutely silences everything. But this is Bozer's second AoE, so it has a cooldown before the next one comes back up. So with Ode to Creation on my Cherie and Liana's passive heal, not too worried. And turn, get the silence of everything. He's trying to take a position to try to block me out from the center. But it doesn't matter, I just need to kill this Bozer and I'm good to go. So his Bozer finally moves. So yeah, as you can see, with 1 stack Epsilon, Bozer with just a normal defensive buff on the terrain, not enough. Pepsi cannot one-shot this Bozer with just 1 stack. But the problem is, basically this Liana is forced to use Act Again here. She can't use heal on this Bozer to heal him back to full. Because Liana has Egg again, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Egg again my Epsilon, and then there's 2 hits. So he has to try to Egg again and threaten me with the next AoE. Unfortunately, Egg again has a small heal multiplier, so he doesn't heal back to full. And Cherie with 2000 attack goes in, knocks out this Bozer, and that's game. Yep. This game, minor changes here, swaps out the Bozer for Himiko, doesn't believe in it anymore. Whereas I swap out my Ares for Bern. Well, the only thing Ares does is really displacement. He's quite focused on the healing department. So it's pretty rough for Ares to do anything. So I swapped it out for Bern. And he does put in the value, you'll see later. First ban Lucretia, the usual, I'm sticking to my bans. This time he first bans my Epsilon. Not dealing with that shit. But with his box, first banning Epsilon, means that I get Rozen. Even though I did ban 2 of his magics. So, because, like, well, it's still his main way of playing. So I just want to remove that for him. It's still good against Licor and Himiko. And Wet Ham to a degree, if I get to play a tank down the line. And I do not get to play a tank down the line, even though I have Autocrato here. So with that, I get to play Bernhard here. Bern Rozen. It's a pretty strong combo. I basically removed most of his magic DPS units. Like the only one left is Licorice. And Licorice, well, it can still kill Bern if you like normal attack a few times, but it's not exactly known as a Bern killer. And I suspect he probably doesn't want to pick it this early. So Bern immediately puts in the value here. Since he banned my Epsilon, I get to pick Rozen and then I get Bern. So that's this backup pick immediately puts in the value here. So Sigma gets banned again. Autocrato doesn't want to play against both auras because he's playing a Cherie draft. So I get rid of the Wet Ham and Epsilon now, because I'm not worried about the rest. I have a Rozen here. And I pick my Werner, which is my last assassin left. No, I do have a Cherie, but Werner has a better kill range in this situation. I lose my 2 mages here, which is a bit weird. I guess he just wants to get rid of teleport, and he learned to respect the Lucretia even though he has a Christian. Picks the Helena here, which is kind of a late game option, like she's trying to farm damage because Helena cannot break through Rozen and Bern. So this pick here is actually just to farm damage in the late game. Ban out the remaining 2 units. The healer, I don't care about the healer and the tank, so I might as well get rid of the DPS, even though I have a Rozen. And I pick up my own Himiko here. So it's trying to enable some kind of push threat. I think my last picks are roughly all around the same value, but the push might be quite useful if it comes down to a middle fight. But I also picked Himiko without banning the Hilda, so this pick is not too sure about this, but yeah. I lose Liana and Cherie here. It's Hilda, which gives me a 5th pick Wet Ham. Again, Lucretia and Wet Ham, I think the 2 best DPS of this season. I think giving it 5th pick is a little too much. But you don't have Rozen this time, it's just Liana. So if I can somehow force the Liana to move, I can actually bring in the AoE skill on Wet Ham to disable the guard on both of these tanks. That can be quite bad. Okay, let's move on. So, as it turns out, I actually didn't bring... No, I did bring the AoE on my Wet Ham. I actually thought I brought single target this game. I guess I misremembered. But everything's pretty standard. It's Iron Fist, Sunshade, Hank Bernhard, and Miracle Rozen, not fixed. It's fixed immune, I actually can't remember. But I brought the Empress Guards. in case to try and maximize my survivability against this Cherie. And this Cherie is Legion Shadow Raid with Christian's buff, and he did get a double tank. So right off the bat, we identify that the main kill I need to get in this game is the Cherie. Once I get the Cherie, I'll probably try to get the Liana. But other than that, it's just trying to stay in the middle, stall out, and have more damage at the end of turn 12. So my winner's main target is this Cherie. Let's start the match. First turn, I just hold my position because I can't really move too aggressively against a player 1 Cherie, especially since he has Egg again. I just hold my ground, stay within guard range. That breeze on the Helena basically means my Bern can't move the next turn as well. I have to get up my active guard before I can do anything. Yeah, here I see this Egg again. I'm like, wait a minute. He's actually just gonna dive me with a Cherie. So I figured he was going to bounce and try to get a kill, probably on Wetham or Werner. I'm not too sure what his plan was at this point. So I just moved my Wetham to the terrain, as I figured that being on top of forest with gargoyle troops will offer more survivability rather than staying in Bernhardt's aura. Although standing here does also give the Cherie access to a forest tile. But yeah. But I did mention at the start that this was the main target that I have to kill. So if he attacks and bounces to a Shadow Raid on my Wetham and my Werner kills that, I'm actually not too unhappy with that trade if that happens. But here he blows the Shadow Raid on my Himiko, which procs my passive, the talent, and then she just retreats. So I'm not sure if that was too worth for him, because this Cherie has 1 turn of faction buff left, and it basically means that this Cherie is completely unusable on this turn. This Cherie is useless for this turn. So it's an opening for me to exert pressure while he can't do much. He only has a Helena left. So again, the Helena breezing means I have to stay put with my Bernhardt. And he tries to take an offensive position against me with his tanks. So here I drop the Miracle, is just getting it ready to initiate. The Cherie moves back, and I think this is a mistake, even though I don't have single target attacks. Wetham goes in, drops the sword. I use the jump here just to get into range to AoE Cherie. So Liana backs here and drops Ode to Creation on the Cherie. So yeah, it's a pretty funny situation. Really unable to guard here. So this guy picked 2 tanks and they're guarding no one but each other. This guy's out of guard range, this guy out of guard range, and this guy's out of guard range. I've seen this situation happen way too much this playoffs, and I find it quite funny. Here, I'm just continuing to put pressure on the Cherie, and I'm basically forcing the Helena to come out and make a move. Especially after I clock that 3C. So he's like, okay, I have to kill this Himiko. Does get the kill. But again, he used Liana's Egg again previously. So I have turn advantage. And I just go up and mop up the 30% Cherie. Wetham. Helena still can't kill. But he gets like extra hunting procs and puts me at 5%, so anything else that touches him is gonna kill him now. So here I figured, well, the main target that I was planning to kill is dead, so I looked at Hilda's HP and it's like, this guy has barely any Templar Knights left, and Templar Knights don't really have that much defense. So I'm like, no, I'm just gonna drop the 3C, see if I can kill that, get 1 life off the Hilda, and it works. Puts me in defensive stance. I slowly push up his team with my team, and he has to kind of back off because he has to maintain his position and he has to take care of the wet hand, which allows me to just take the middle. Put my Warner back into offensive stance, trying to get 1 last Liana kill before we go. Buffing my Bernhardt, my 2 range guard is down at the moment. And yep, the Helena is trying to farm damage now. Begins. So here I make my move on the Liana. I figured that this is the best chance I'm gonna get because Liana doesn't have a defense buff now. Like, if I wait until Christian casts a faction buff again, it's probably going to be harder. Even though I don't have an attack buff, I wrote a 20% damage dealt buff on Werner. So even though I'm not in guard range, I think it's worth to trade my Werner for the Liana now. Because once this Liana dies, this Lava Titan is going to start putting in the work because he has no more heals left. And it's going to start chipping 30% HP off one of the units every single time my Bernhardt ends his turn. Go in. I think even without the 20%, this shouldn't be close with double bladed strike. But, you know, never hurts to make sure. You can see Hilda lost 30% of her health that turn. And this actually tips the damage counter in my favor. My sword is still griefing my turn priority here. And he kills his own Hilda because he realizes his Hilda is a walking damage counter at this point. But in doing that, he also reduces the number of units he has on the map, so it's easier for me to proc Lava Titan on the Christian. I just put up my guard and the healing so that I can start hitting. So I think this move is a mistake. You can see I take way more damage than I do to the Christian because Christian's infantry and Lava Titans are lancers. But the big thing is that Cherie is actually up this turn with Helena's 3C. So if he shivers from here, she can actually run 5 blocks and hit a guarded unit on my Bernhardt. But granted that it's a double cavalry and it's royal cavalry, Helena, and Lava Titans have the Lancer tech where they take reduced damage when they are below 70% health. I think this still won't kill my Bernhardt, but this is also a bad move because I willingly bring myself out of the center. The center is these 6 tiles here. And I willingly bring myself out here. And I think it's just unnecessary risk. I did this because I wanted to try to bring down the Christian ASAP and to secure the Lava Titan debuff on the Christian. But I think this was unnecessary risk at this point. But he makes a mistake. She chivalries next to my Bernhardt. With full bloom and crystal healing, it basically puts my Bernhardt back to full health. And there's no point in using 3C anymore. You see, the Hruntings are doing quite a bit of damage. And the second part about why this move is bad is because my guard is actually about to run out next turn. So luckily I got this lucky Tenor Breeze here. But if not, what I have to do is I have to move my Rozen here to stay in guard. Which means I have to move my Rozen first, which means I can't get the healing off later. And then I'll need to move my Bern onto this tree to guard my Rozen. But if I do that, my 2 units are here, and then the Helena is just gonna end her turn here, and my Bern is gonna get stuck outside. So I think I kind of got bailed out by that breeze. Well, the other thing is that unless the Christian dies when I'm here, so that my Bernhard actually has the space to move back into the center. But, well, I got bailed out a little bit. And he's kind of unlucky in the sense that the Lava Titans only target his tank. So, I got bailed out and I just take the safe play, I just start healing. No point taking any unnecessary risk anymore. Christian loses 1 life here. I moved my Rozen because I want to start hitting at this point. I wasn't sure if I'm going to win by damage even with the Lava Titans. And the previous positioning didn't allow my Bernhard to hit anything. So here I faction buff, Lava Titan goes onto the Christian again. With 20%, I feel safe enough to just hit the Christian and lose all my Lava Titans in the process. I get Sunshade and the healing from Rozen's Talon, and I'm pretty much back to full health. And the Lava Titan finally goes onto the last unit, the Helena. And you can see the damage counter is actually pretty close here. Yeah, we're barely like 10,000 apart, which is like 1 auto attack. But with the tank down and my Bern having Lava Titans, my Bern is basically free to just keep hitting the Helena. Because the Helena moves first, I basically don't have to open my guard ever. I can just hit with Bernhard and then Rozen just moves next to Bern. Yeah, once that damage comes out, it's pretty much a sure win for me at this point. And just start farming damage. I don't really need to heal my Rozen. And I'm not sure if my Bern actually managed to get the kill here, or if he just taps out. And it just taps out. I don't manage to find out if my Bern can kill that. But yeah, that's going to be end of this game. Round 4. Best of 4 either. The top 4 matchup. And thank you everyone for watching.